Now, when we are talking about this thing, I just want to know, because you are very good with family constellations also,
Yes.
right? And we are talking about one person, the soul journey, and it starts with I and me,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
parents, my conditioning,
Hmm.
my where I come from, the
Hmm.
environment, and then my, the friend circle, the other circle,
Hmm.
and then the house, and then the job, and the circles,
Yes.
keeps increasing,
Yes. Yes.
and the whole family plays a role.
Hmm.
Like the DNA system, it could have been anything, could have
Yes.
been even feeling happy comes, the feeling of joy comes, you inherit
Exactly.
sometimes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And sometimes sadness,
Yes.
sometimes any disease,
Yes.
you inherit
Hmm.
it. So what is family constellation?
Hmm.
I want that
Hmm.
people to and how does it play the game. When I saw the translation in Hindi, it was like parivarik nakshatra, the constellation. I actually googled it and I said, okay, what is the Hindi of family constellation? It was verbatim,
Yeah.
parivarik nakshatra.
Yeah.
So the whole nakshatra system,
Hmm.
you are here, the pivotal,
Yeah.
the most important, and the whole family
Hmm.
plays a part.
Hmm.
So what is it, and how does that affect, and how do you work with it? I mean,
Hmm.
I'm asking all the questions
Yes,
right
I
now
know.
because Nisha, I must tell you this. So when I joined my journalism
Hmm.
way back in '88, right? And the first day, our director told us, and he said, the work of a journalist, or to know, the to give an information within that one or two paragraph, is like five W's and one H.
Hmm.
What happened? Where did it happen?
Yes.
Who all were involved?
Yes.
You know,
Hmm.
when
Yes.
it happened, and then who all, everything, and why,
Yes.
and then how we are going to meet
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
So this is five W's and
And
one
that's
H.
what
I
we
want to put it now on you.
and that's what we do in healing also. Like we put up these five W's and one H in
Yeah,
healing also when we
yeah,
are taking
yeah.
the person into the subconscious mind.
Isn't that
So
interesting?
yeah.
Yeah, lovely. So, what is it? Who all are need to? Because family constellation is a complete work,
Yes,
and it's
it's
very
very
effective,
vast. It's very vast.
and it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's so amazing. I really want you to talk about that.
So family constellation, for me, family constellation is like something that touches me very deep. Like it just goes into my soul. It
Mm.
just comes and touches me. And I like every time I step into the field, like as a participant or as a facilitator, it just overwhelms me. It overwhelms me to see how the energy system plays and how the energy is like the invisible energy, how it is showing up when we just start with the field. So, family constellation, of course, as the name suggests, it is about families and the family conflict, but it's just not limited to that. Family constellation can be done for the inner, like your inner structure, for your inner self growth, and for like different aspects of your own self. That is one. Also, family constellation can be done for relationships, for the family conflicts, or for the family dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
and changing that, or just exploring that, like. And family constellations can also be done for businesses, which we call like the systemic constellations,
Hmm.
like the structure, the organizational structure, the businesses, the finances, like wherever there is a structure, we can set up a constellation for that.
Hmm.
Because constellation, when put up, it shows the structure and what is like a hindrance in that structure,
Mm-hmm.
or what is a block in that structure. And because every relationship also has a structure, even if we have emotions and feelings in it, but then it has a structure. And that energetic structure defines the relationship. That energetic structure tells us which elements are in harmony with that structure, and which elements are like blocking it or creating the chaos or disturbance in that structure. So when we work with family constellation, like I initially I was like going into family constellations and practicing it and learning it and experiencing it. So every time I stood into a family constellation, I would see that something shifted in me. Something just shifted. Like it's like if I'm here, I would be just here, and that shift is something that is like I cannot go back to the same position again.
So it's like quantum energy. A shift here will bring a shift there.
Yeah. So I like
So
yeah,
amazing.
it's just like you're shifted and you cannot go back. There is no going back. Like it just
Changes the whole.
happens. And I'm like, okay, I'm shifted now, and then the next step and the next step and the next step. So every time I felt I need a shift in me, a movement that is beyond my mind, that is beyond my understanding level. That is the movement, that is the shift which family constellation can give you.
Um, uh, this was like, I think, year 2008, 9, 10. We had attended the family constellation in Goa, remember? And it's so interesting that we were a huge group. And when we were made any, we had to play any part. It's so interesting what happens in the family constellation. You have a part to play, whether it's some person, right, or any emotion or anything. And interestingly, even though I didn't know that person at all, the moment I stood there, I felt, no, this is not my place. I wanted to be there, and I wanted to be there, and I felt that. So that's so empowering. The moment you give that, even the name that this is what you are, you're playing a role of this person, even if you're telling one person in the year.
Yes, yes,
And they start feeling.
yes,
That's such a
exactly.
energetic dynamism.
Yes.
Dynamics,
Yes.
the way it's working.
Yes.
What is that, and how does that happen?
So in a group constellation, what happens is like let's say for example you are a client and we are sitting and we are discussing like what do you what you're here for and what exactly you want us to do, what would you like to explore, and then we talk and we discuss, and we from that discussion I pick up the energy. Okay, this is what is needed, because that energy starts showing up the moment you enter the room and the moment you sit with us in the workshop or like in a group session, and the energy is already started. Like, and as you talk, as you discuss, the constellation energy automatically starts opening up that these are the elements that are needed in this particular constellation. We cannot do everything in a constellation because every situation has a structure in itself, like the microstructure. And we can only see that, okay, what you want at this particular point of time, we can work on that particular aspect, and that can have multiple layers and multiple ripple effects in your life. So when you are coming for like having a discussion and we decide that, okay, this is the element, so the elements can be played like the number of people who are available, who are like the observers in the group constellation. And let's say if there is a relationship issue and we say that you and your partner, and we want to put those two in the constellation, then we are going to give someone your role as you, and we are going to give your partner's role to someone as the partner. And it is very, very intuitive. It is very, very energetic. It is like we are not using our mind in the process, because our mind is, again, like I said, is very limited in understanding the energy work. So when we are standing in the constellation, when we put those two people in the constellation, we see what is happening, because they are not themselves now they are playing the role in your constellation, and they are becoming part of your energy field.
So it's like playing a role in the theater. For that moment, you
Exactly.
emotionalize, you feel that
Exactly.
thing so much, so much that the way you respond or react is something which is coming out of that
Exactly.
role, what is given to you.
So it's like, it's not, I wouldn't say that it's just a role. It's like when you become that person, you start feeling everything that person is going through.
Wow.
So even if there is a disease happening in that person's body, you will start experiencing that as well. And that shows up, that information is relevant for the field, because sometimes that disease is creating the issue in the relationship. There's a hidden disease, nobody knows about it. So the constellations can open the truth. The constellations can open a lot of hidden secrets that
Oh
has
my
happened
God.
in the ancestral level. But we as constellators, like, we are also guided that if we don't want to open those secrets, we don't.
Yeah.
We are like, okay, no, this is a secret that has happened at an ancestral level, and we are not. We don't have the permission to open it.
Yeah.
But knowing that there was a secret, and that secret is affecting the dynamics of the constellation in itself, is healing. Let's say an ancestor aborted a child, and that is a secret. But then when we come to that information, when we get that information in the constellation, that this has happened, that information itself heals and moves. Because that acknowledgement of that dead energy, that dead child, just opens up the flow of energy.
I have also, heard that and seen that when we are not able to do the family constellation with people present there, we can use the proxies in the form of paper written their
Yes.
name
Yes.
or pebbles or something like that,
Yes.
right? So
So,
energy came
yes.
continues,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Exactly.
then you exactly know which one
Hmm.
has to be placed,
Hmm.
who wants to move
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's something like mm, from far, online. You can also do
Yes,
that.
I do online now. I This year I started doing online constellation sessions. So I like ask the client to put up the field in their space, and I am seeing that field, and I'm getting the information of that field, and I guide them what is next. Sometimes they themselves know if they are intuitive. Sometimes they are like, okay, I'm seeing my grandmother standing here, or I'm seeing my father standing here. So whatever the field requires, and then I guide them accordingly, like put this here and put this here, move there, if that is required. In constellation, as a constellator, as a facilitator, our role is to see, our role is to observe, our role is to allow the movement to happen on its own. So as a constellator, we require a lot of stillness within us. We require a lot of observation within us so that we can understand what is the energy movement and where it is taking us. And not like constellation is not about results. Like, it's not about result orientation that, okay, this is the problem, can you fix it with a constellation? That is your mind talking. Constellation is about feeling the depth of that energy that you're experiencing, and going into that, exploring it, experimenting with it, and seeing what comes out. So sometimes it is in favor of people, and sometimes it is not, but that itself is healing. Because if you are saying that, okay, I want something, like, let's say I want a particular person, but that is not happening for you, and you're adamant about it, but the constellation is showing you that it's not going to happen. That's the truth. So if you're not able to accept the result of the constellation, then you will be in conflict with it. But eventually that is the truth. So sometimes constellations can show you the truth that you don't want to see. That is also there. But that itself is healing. So the dynamics of family constellation work is not just about healing you or your soul or about movement. It's about also giving you insights.
So it's like getting aware of it.
Exactly.
It works on the awareness,
Yes.
right? The moment you see that,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
I didn't know this, that
Yes.
this existed,
Yes.
and it is here
Yes.
itself. The
Yes.
moment I see it, I heal myself and I recognize and
Yes.
I, say that, okay, this is what it is, which
Yes.
was never there. I
Yes.
never knew that.
Yes.
Right. So, in family constellations, besides relationships and all, the diseases also come.
Yes, yes. So I went to Germany in 2019 to the Bert Hellinger the Hellinger Schule to attend a constellation seminar there, and there I saw like a lot of people. There were like different representations, different countries like Russians and Polish, like Poland, and even Germans. So there were only two Indians like me and one other person. And we saw that when those representations were happening for, like, let's say a person is coming that my child is sick, and we were placing a constellation, and the person who was playing the role of the child, it started behaving in exactly the same way her child was. So there was a spinal issue, and it wasn't said, it wasn't
Nothing.
verbally said that what is the issue. It wasn't, because in constellation we don't talk much. We just feel, we just experience the energy, we let the energy flow and show up. And that constellation seminar is something I never forget, because in there were almost 70-80 people, and that facilitator, he no one said anything in the constellations. How are you feeling? What is happening? Nothing. He just perceived the energy, what is happening, and the movement, and everything just moved and everything got resolved. And like I said, the diseases, so there was a spinal issue, and that person was like going into like going into that zone that there is a spinal issue in the back. And then we delve deeper into like from where it was coming and what was happening and what was causing it, and we cleared that. So a lot of times children pick up the diseases in the constellation. Shows up like when children are sick in the family, how constellations can help. Uh, like I also did a constellation recently where the mother came forward and she said, my child is having health issues, but then we don't know how to solve it. Like it's very vague health issue, like there is no defined this thing. And we put up the constellation starting with the child energy, but then it showed that there was like there was a issue between the men and the women energies of the family, like the whole ancestral line, and that was creating the health issue in the child. So how it opens up, like we even we don't know, because it's your field. Like how it is going to open up is like something we as facilitators observe and like we see. So it's purely guided, purely intuitive. Every constellation differs, every constellation varies. There is no fixed outcome. But there is something that once you experience a constellation, you will never be a same person. That's for sure. Like because the constellation energy shifts you. It just shifts you. That's why I say that if you're looking for a movement, a shift in you, then come for a constellation session.